So this is March Adness. Okay, so the first week we talked about targeting. And targeting's so good for a lot of you because you have data. Like Rip, you used to work at a big church, and you have a lot of contact information for the people that attended that church, right? Okay, well, Jane and I attended that church. Well, if Rip now doesn't work for the church and he's now selling real estate, and he starts using our contact information that he could have only gotten from his days at the church to market to us, I might find that inappropriate. Liz, you sleep with the HOA president in your neighborhood, don't you? See what she will do for business? That's her husband for people. You have access to 1,200 residents in your neighborhood at a very high average sales price. But if you use that to market to them, they might think that your husband gave that to you inappropriately. And he did, because you sleep with him. He'll do anything you tell him to do. They might not like you for using what they consider to be private information for a commercial purpose. Fair? And you're not in the business of making people not like you, right? So targeting ads allow Liz and Rip to take those email addresses and tell our ad company, I just want these people on this list to see my ad wherever they go on the internet. So it's very targeted, just these people. But they won't get mad at Liz because they won't know that she used their email address to run that ad at them. They'll just think that she's taking out ad space on usatoday.com, CNN.com, ESPN.com, all these different websites. They're going to think you're a big-time player. Are you?
Yes.
Well, that remains to be seen, but they will think that you are. Retargeting, we talked about last week, retargeting is different. Similar name, but retargeting, you're driving people to your website. You're telling people, here, go to my website to get whatever it is you want. And then once they go to your website has little gremlins that live in it. Now, I just do that because it drives Rob crazy. They're not gremlins. I know they're pixels and they're tags, but I don't know what the hell that means. They're little evil animals that live inside your website. And when you drive visitors to your website, it's going to recognize them and it's going to follow them around the internet where they go and show them your ad. That's retargeting. It's done to us all the time. How's this shoe company know? Everywhere I go now I see shoes. Well, their little gremlins gotcha. This week we're going to go to social media ads, okay? Facebook, Google, and Rob's going to take over from here and he's going to take you on a deep dive inside these. In front of you on the table is a list of all the free or mostly free stuff. And I keep putting that out on the table because this is my message to you. You could buy your business. And the last week of this month, next week we won't have a session, but on the last week of March, we're going to dive into paid lead generation. Everything from Zillow to OpCity to Boomtown to Commissions Inc. I'm going to show you how they work and what they cost and why you would do it and maybe why you wouldn't. Today we're going to do the social media paid ads, Facebook ads, boosted post, Google ads. What are they? How do they work? What do they cost if you wanted to do them? But on the table in front of you is a list of all the free stuff. I want you to invest in your business. I do. And I think that marketing expense is a function of being in business. But after you do the free stuff, it makes no sense to me to start spending money when there's all this free stuff that we could still do first. What I really want you to do is do both. But free's not really free, is it? What's the cost of free?
Time and labor.
Time and labor. Time and labor. And I will acknowledge this. Some of you, for a variety of reasons, say, I got no more time. I am maxed out. I got things going on in my personal life, and this is it. I don't have the time to do the things on the free list. And I'm done arguing with you. I'm trying to get you to have a weekly schedule and to manage your time as efficiently as possible, because I think you really do have time if you start to harness it for the powers of good. But I think I'm losing that war with many of you. So this is why we're having March Adness. So for those of you that just strongly believe you don't have the time, or for those of you that go, I might have the time, I just don't want to do it. Okay. If you can't beat them, join them, right? So here's an ad strategy all through this month, because I don't think I can beat you. So I'm going to go along with you. I want you to grow your business. The problem that almost everybody has, everybody in our industry has one of two problems. Some people have both. The first problem, I just don't have enough business. I just don't. I don't have enough prospects. I don't have enough opportunities. So it's forcing me to work with people I just don't really like that much. When I talked to Casey last night, his attitude was, next. And that's because Casey has a full pipeline of prospects. That tends to be Bob. And Leanne's perspective, it is not Lisa's, because Lisa wants every deal. I want you to have a full pipeline of business, so you choose who you do and you don't want to work with. That's one problem. The other problem is, I have a pipeline of business, I'm running out of time. I need to manage this better. I can't give up my whole life just to make money. Nobody wants you to do that. And getting your real estate license didn't teach you the skills to manage a growing business. Jessica, it's good that your business is growing. Pretty soon you're going to have a different problem. I don't have enough time. And we're going to work on that. But if you just don't want to do the free stuff, Rob's going to talk to you now about a third way of running ads to grow your business, to bring more prospects in. Okay? And then on March the 30th, we will talk about paid lead generation. Fair enough? Okay, Rob, I'm going to shut up now, maybe, and turn it over to you.
All right, so this is speaking of time, this is going to be kind of a high-level look at Facebook ads versus Google ads, to the ways they differ. It's going to be a glance at TikTok Reels and a little comparison between those two quickly. And then I have a special hack for Facebook special ad category for you guys at the end to let you hyper-target some folks every once in a while. So, March Adness, my expensive graphic. This is Facebook ads versus Google ads. When most of you come and sit down with me, or we have a conversation in the building about Facebook ads or Google ads, and someone says, I want to run an ad on Google. I'm like, okay, well, which kind? I don't know, an ad on Google. And there are many different kinds, and there are many different kinds of Facebook ads. So the first place that we have to start is identifying the different kinds of ads on both of them for you guys. So let's take Facebook ads first. Facebook, well, here's the difference between the two platforms. Facebook ads are interest-based. Their ads are served up to people based on their interest, as long as they align with the parameters in your ad campaign in the back end. Google ads are intent-based. They're served up based on the intent of the user's search and what they do on Google. Two completely different ways of looking at it. Facebook ads typically use a lead form. One of the problems with a lead form is that it's auto-populated. And that means it's auto-populated with the email address, oftentimes, that they use to create their Facebook account. And I don't know about you, but I changed my email address once since 2007 or 8. And there's some outdated information in there. So you have to be careful. They're not as accurate. Google Ads will drive you to a landing page. People have to actually type in their information or start typing and it autofills their most recent information, which is more accurate, but it costs more. But we're going to cover that in a minute, okay? All right, into Facebook. Here are all the main kinds. There are a few that I left out because they don't really apply to real estate agents at all, but we're going to start with about 10 different kinds of Facebook ads that you can run and what they're good for. So let's start with boosted post, also known to Facebook as post-engagement Facebook ads. All right, this drives likes, comments, shares, help you build organic reach, grows your audience. It's really helpful. It's really good to do. Your content shows up like in an audience feed as a post because it was a real post that you made. So if you're going to boost something, you want to think about that in advance when you're creating that post and make sure it's just right. There's no misspellings, the title just right, the image is good, because you're going to want to get as much as you can out of it.
Okay, hold on a second. When I tell Facebook I want to boost a post, what am I telling Facebook to do?
Show this post to as many people in a certain area as possible. You are required to use a special ad category for housing if it's real estate related, so that's a 15-mile radius, but show it to more people than just my friends.
Well, how is that different than a Facebook ad?
Because this is actually a post that you made. It's not a crafted ad for a particular service or product or something. It's a post that you would make on your Facebook business page, maybe a tip video, maybe something about a swift change in the market and how to react. Good content that you would make as a post will then show up in their audience's feed as a post.
So if Ami makes a dance video on her birthday that she uses as a post, and she wants more people to see it, she would just boost it. She wouldn't necessarily make that an ad.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing to understand is, in Facebook's terminology, when you boost a post, it's still an ad because you have to have a Facebook ad account in order to boost any post. You can set up a Facebook ad account, attach your credit card to it, and then never run an ad campaign if you don't want to. Just boost post every once in a while. You will grow your audience that way. More people will see your content. Go back. Instant experience Facebook ads. I was talking to Lanier about this morning. This is one that he's never tried. These don't just sit in the feed like a boosted post or an ad that you would scroll by. They expand to full screen when they're tapped on. So it looks like it takes them out of Facebook but stays in Facebook, and you can use the full screen. It's not surrounded by other content. So yes?
Is that video, photo? How does that?
It's mainly video, but you can do it with an image as well if you have, or the video not moving but not video one we talked about also. Look at the instant experience ones. If you want to isolate their attention for a few seconds, that's a good way to do it. Video Facebook ads. These outperform still image ads. They get 2 times more clicks and photos and increases your conversion 20 to 30% according to Facebook. The video trumps the static ones every single time, okay? Event response Facebook ads. Let's say Jessica and Manuela, you're holding your tournament, your cornhole tournament and hot wing eating contest coming up. When you create that event, you can run an event response Facebook ad. You could even run them if you're doing open houses and having folks, you want to try to get an idea, you get certain people there. Run it, get people there. It increases the attendance at your event, boosts the event and the brand awareness, both of which we have all talked about doing, right? So we need to look at event response Facebook ads. Lead generation Facebook ads. Again, it's essentially a promoted form. However, you run the risk on Facebook more so than Google of the information not being 100% accurate, okay? Page like Facebook ads. I have a conversation with a lot of you guys all the time, like, how can I get more people to like my business page? How can I get more people? A, do the free stuff and post really good content on it. Drive traffic there with a page like Facebook ad. Helps you grow that page automatically. The more organic content that you have and the more organic audience that you have versus a tiny little audience that you just created that page to be able to run ads, that's going to carry more weight. That can never, ever, ever, ever hurt you to do that. So grow that audience, and you could do it with a page like Facebook ad. I do it all the time for civic organizations in Roswell when I start helping them. And the first thing we start doing is run page like Facebook ads. And we get growth in the thousands of percents. We go from 15 to 120 to 609 to we just watch it grow.
So pause for a second. What we're trying to do this morning is to give you an overview to help you have a general understanding and conception of what's going on. Do you need to be an expert on this? No. So Nicole is quickly becoming our social media specialist, and Rob's our marketing director. All you really need to do is be aware that these things are available to you and go, hey, Nicole, I want to set up some page-like Facebook ads, but like all I know is that term. I don't really know what the hell that means, okay? Can you help me with that? And you would say, yes. Yes. See how easy that was? Yeah. We don't need to know how to do it. You need to know that you want to do it. You need to have a general awareness of it. And then we got a lot of help and support behind you to get it done. Make sense? Okay.
Right. Slideshow Facebook ads. They're kind of like videos, but not. Like Lanier, we were just talking about. They're like moving or animated billboards. You see them all the time on billboards you drive by. Same kind of thing with slideshow Facebook ads. Carousel Facebook ads, great for listings. Not that I don't think you guys need listing ads right now because with the way properties are selling, but they're great for listings to do a carousel ad. And collection Facebook ads are great for multiple listings. So when you find yourself in a situation with multiple listings you want to promote in an area, collection Facebook ads work best. And the simplest one is image Facebook ads. Super simple to set up, super simple to use, doesn't require a whole lot of creativity. Just the only thing you have to make sure you do is follow Facebook's guidelines on the image. No more than 15% of the image can be text, so you can't make like the cool things that we make, Nicole makes in Canva for like the cornhole thing out here and the awards gala and stuff, where there's a big title and all kinds of stuff on it. You can't do that. Facebook doesn't want you to junk up the feed with a junky image. That stuff works great in other places, but they won't let you run it as an image Facebook ad. No more than 15 to 20% of the image can be text. They say 20%, but stick to 10 or 15. And make sure it's a super high quality image. It can't be, a crappy photo, blurry, not a good graphic. Just make sure it's a super high quality image and you stick to that rule and you will be good on image Facebook ads. So those are the ones that I want to take you through. I left off some like shopping and some other stuff because they are 99% geared towards products, selling shoes, golf clubs and things, and there's no way to relate that to what we do. So I left off 2 or 3 like that, but that is 10 of the ones that we can use as realtors to market our business on Facebook. Now let's flip over and look at Google ads real quick and the different kinds. Search ads. These are, you see them every day. Every time you Google something, you see them. They're text ads that appear on the upper portion of it's called the SERP, Search Engine Results page. It's what you see when you see all the links come up in Google. They appear in the top portion of that. Display ads. These are image ads, and I'll show you an example in a minute. They're the 728 by 90 banners, the 300 by 250 boxes, the 160 by 600 skyscrapers. You see them all over websites, targeted, that we were talking about. Your ad will be that when you run that through AdWorks on CNN.com, ESPN, etc. Those are display ads that show up on websites and also on Gmail. Video ads. Everybody that watches a YouTube ad at some point during the day has to sit through first 5 seconds of an ad. That's what these are. So it's a Google ad. Runs on YouTube, runs at the first part. There are different kinds, skippable, they can skip after 5 seconds, playable, that you have to play the whole thing through, whole 15 seconds. Those are the most annoying. Smart ads, these are simplified ads that run across the web and on Google, and it says, what's so funny is it's not simplified. So actually come sit down and talk to me if you're interested in it, and I'll go in deep on that, but we knew we were not going to have time in here to cover exactly what smart ads, how they work, and discovery ads that run across Google's feeds, okay? Now, let's look at search ads. You ask, like if you're asking, like, the question would be, why would I use a search ad versus a display ad if I was going to run a Google ad? All right, these are the text ones at the top. Right up there is what it looks like. So now you're going to see the difference between the two. Display ads, these that I was talking about, it's the same ad for sunglasses. And they're best for reaching clients early in the buying cycle. Okay, this is not when they're searching to buy a house or information on a realtor in a certain area. They're not there yet. They're just looking at CNN or ESPN or whatever for some other information. But these are the ones that build your brand awareness. And these are the ones that follow them and haunt them everywhere through retargeting. This kind of ad is what's going to do that. And this is the one that just basically taps on the monitor and says, hey, I still exist. I'm a realtor. My name is Casey. I'm right here. Don't forget about me. Sorry, you're the tallest guy in the room. That's who I see when I look back there. And I want you to look at this funnel because this is super important when you start planning this thing out, okay? Should you do display ads? Yes. Should you do text ads, the search engine ads? Yes. But expect different results from them at different, and they work on the client at different points of their journey, okay? Google display ads at the very top. If you treat your campaigns like a sales funnel, those are for new potential clients coming in. Those are the ones you're just reminding, I'm here when you get ready. Next year, I'll still be here because this ad campaign will still be running. And the search ads are way down here at the bottom. That's for when they get close to converting because now they've opened up Google and now they've typed in, buy a house in Roswell. They've typed in, real estate agent in Roswell. Whatever the case is and whatever the area it is, they're actually looking for that, okay? Maybe they search mortgage interest rates. Well, now because they're starting to think about it. What is the rate and how much is it going to cost me? So that's the difference in the two. Display ads running all the time, search ads running all the time, but two different sets of people being affected by it, okay? As long as you keep that in mind and don't just run display ads and want to know why you're not getting any results of people that are searching to buy a house, it's because they respond to search ads, not display ads. All right, here are some benchmarks. These are numbers all from 2021, and this is numbers and charts. So I try to make it as colorful as possible. Only one we're worried about is this category on the end, whatever shade of green that is on the end right here, okay? Benchmarks, average cost per lead on Google Ads. This is the cost per the lead that you start working with. Nationwide, $75.94.
Well, that's crazy talk.
No,
Go back to that. There is no way in the world Bob Clarkson is going to spend $76 to sell a house.
Well, no, but we
That's
also live in
crazy.
Atlanta and not LA. This takes in New York and LA, so it's probably a little bit less.
Bob, would even you spend $76 to make $10,000? You might consider it. Okay. All right.
You would. Mike's going to make you. The average click-through rate, Google ads, 7.39% overall, nationwide, 2021. Average cost per click, $1.17. All right, so do you see the difference when the click was $1.17, the lead was almost $76, because some people click on it and they look at it and go, eh, and they move on. They don't actually follow through.
Okay, hold on a second. If you have a real estate agent in the Atlanta market that's been mean, nasty, and inappropriate with you, and they're running Google ads, what do you think you might do? Click the ads. Just sit there for an hour tonight while you're watching TV going click, 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 click. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That is vindictive and not where I thought that was going. So average cost per call, this is calls, largely Google Local Services ads, nationwide, $98.49. In Atlanta, $26. All right, yes?
To vouch for Google on that, they record the calls as they come to you, and if it's not specifically about real estate, they'll credit you back on you don't pay for anything that's not an actual real estate lead.
Right. You just go, like Lanier said, that Google will credit you back anything that's not an actual real estate lead. So sometimes people will call you and go, hey, I want to rent an apartment in Tucker. And you go, I'm sorry, I sell residential real estate in Roswell. Oh, okay. Well, you don't pay, in Atlanta's case, $26 for that. That you just get credited back for it and there's no charge. If they call and go, hey, you sell in Suwanee, hey, I want to buy a house in Suwanee, I'd like to have a conversation about it. Okay, great. And then he starts that conversation and then they, ghost him a few days later. Well, he still has to pay for that call because it just didn't work out. But the conversion rate's much higher there.
While you're on the money, some of you are looking at the free sheet and going, I don't have the time and I don't want to do this stuff. And you're looking at this and going, well, I can't spend that kind of money. You don't want to do the free stuff and you don't want to spend any money. I don't have any answers for you. I really don't. I don't know where your business is going to come from. Some of you are willing to do one or the other, but what I really want you to think about is, what would happen if I did both? And you wonder how you can get your business to the level that you want to get it to. This is how. But if you don't want to do either, I don't quite know what you're doing here this morning. You got to do one or the other. You got to be willing to do the free stuff, or you got to be willing to spend money. But if you did both, I think you'd knock it out of the park.
And on the cost part, I just keep in mind, these are nationwide numbers and for 2021, and they include people who spend $40,000 a month and people who spend $100,000. So keep in mind their averages, okay? So cost per call, 98. Average monthly spend for real estate agents, $1,212. Now, that is, again, nationwide. So I'm not, are we saying spend $1,212?
No, you're missing a zero.
Oh my God. Okay, so talk to Mike about that afterwards. And Facebook ads. Let's slip over to Facebook. I want you to know the difference, and I'm going to go back and forth between a couple of these. The cost per lead, Facebook's down to $46.53. It's 60% of what it was in Google. Average click-through rate, it's also down, 2.03%. A third of what it was on Google. Cost per click, 82 cents. Okay, now we're getting like crazy stupid cheap. Average monthly spend, almost half of what it was over there on Google. So should you be using Facebook ads? Yes. Should you use Google ads? Yes. You got to do both. Intent-based, interest-based. Two different philosophies, two different approaches that reach people at two different points in the potential client life cycle. You got to do both.
Okay, so watch. Casey, how many properties do you have under contract right now? No, under contract total. How many active prospects are you working with that you think are going to buy a house in the next 60 days?
16 buyers. I've got,
Where do they come from?
The ether.
they come from Facebook ads and Google ads.
I don't know. They just showed up at my front door ringing the doorbell. Would you please help us buy a house? No, it's a living example of, I mean, do you have 16 people that are going to buy a house in the next 60 days? Are you doing what he's doing? Okay.
Both. Use both. I get that question all the time. Now let's jump over real quick to TikTok and Reels because they're essentially function the same. I mean, you've all watched them. They're, you know, and other than the TikTok watermark, the content in the middle is the same. So here's an example of an ad that was ran both on TikTok, this was 2 months ago, on TikTok and on Reels, okay? So Reels is Instagram's version of that. Same 15-second product video on both platforms with the same goal, the same reach, same ad copy, exactly, same hashtags, same daily budget, same total spend, same location targeting for the exact same time period. So a true one-on-one comparison, okay? Both the objective was reach, daily budget was $50, total spend $1,000 and $1,011, so the same. US, age 25 to 44, and Instagram almost doubled ad-wise what TikTok's doing. And the reason that is TikTok is like, they have their product. Reels is Instagram's answer to that, and they're fighting and scrapping, so they are pushing Reels and pushing your ads on Reels right now. Right now, I can't guarantee this will be the case a year from now, but right now, 389,000 to 199,000 for reach. Impressions, 604 to 228,000. Cost per thousand, $2.60. They're also doing it so much cheaper. TikTok, 503. Clicks, 36 to 28. Same click-through ratio, because that's the click-through ratio on that type of platform where people are watching funny videos and things like that. That click-through ratio is not going to change. The content's the content. The cost per click, 2808, 3572, and the cost per impressions, $1.67 per 1,000 and 438. So right now, as of March 16th, Reels gives you more bang for your buck than TikTok if you want to advertise in that type of platform and that type of space where that kind of content's being consumed to those type of adults, age 25 to 44 in the United States. Now, I talked to you about the special ad category because all of you have dealt with this. I've sat at my desk with you and we've tried to figure out ways to get your content out there and get it around this. But everyone, if you haven't ran a Facebook ad campaign, you will find that when you do, you as a realtor, if your content, even if it's a tip about how to buy a house or how to sell your house, even if you talk about your brokerage or you talk about the industry, mortgage rates, whatever, you have to choose special ad category at the top of your campaign, and you have to choose housing. There's like 6 in there now. There used to be 4. Housing is one of them. That's going to take away a tremendous amount of your customization. You can't change age. Age is 18 to 65 plus. If you choose Roswell or an address, it's 15-mile radius, so a 30-mile diameter around that area. You can't choose demographics. There's all kinds of stuff that you can't choose. But every once in a while, I want you guys to do this. Make a video or a post about buyers or sellers' rights and responsibilities, or one of the other, when dealing with the Fair Housing Act. If you do this, you do not have to use special ad category housing. This is their way of saying, no, we want you to inform people, and sometimes you need to hyper-target folks to inform them about their rights when it comes to the Fair Housing Act, or their responsibilities if they're going to sell with the Fair Housing Act. You can target that post and boost it to anyone you want, all the way down using interest, using a tiny little area, and you're also still reminding them, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm a realtor, I still exist. So you're not doing your typical type of content, but you're still targeting the folks you want to hyper-target. And then you go back to the regular special ad category housing, and producing your other content, that's just one extra way to touch those folks that you're actually trying to touch, okay? And if you're interested in doing this, you do need to, somewhere in your graphic, use the Fair Housing Act logo, the Fair Housing logo. But you can Google that and get that. It's from anywhere. It's the same standard logo. So if you're interested in doing that, come see me. I'll show you how to do that, and we'll get you set up to target that, okay? That's a separate campaign in the back end than your other one, because your targeting is going to be way different. But I'll help you set all that. I'll set all that stuff up, okay? And once again, just it reminds them you're here. Your whole reason for doing any of the things that we've talked about for the last 29 minutes is to just poke on the monitor and go, hey, don't forget me. I'm still here. I'm still a realtor. It says realtor right by my name, right below me, right below the content. Don't forget. That's all you got to do. Keep poking them, keep reminding them. Okay?
Before you stop, let's open it up to questions.
Yes?
With the special category, do you have a guideline about how frequently you can use that? You said pretty infrequently. Does that mean like once a month?
Well, no. The reason there's no like set time that you can or can't do it. The reason I said that is because you don't want to change and not become a realtor and become a Fair Housing, Act attorney or something, and like focusing on like that issue all the time, like that's your thing. But what it allows you to do is go, I got to make this content, I got to push it out to this enormous amount of people. The folks that you're trying to reach are within that group, but what it allows you to do is every once in a while just touch those folks too. Spend less money on the ad because you're reaching out many less people than you were, and also shows your mastery of the subject matter. So that's why I said that you don't want to do it all the time, but every once in a while, just poke it, and it's fun to get around Facebook's rules.
Let me make this suggestion. If you decide to do this, which is good, would you please run it by Dwayne or I and let us just broker approve it?
Yes.
Some of you have very cute personalities and like to have fun with things. This is one of those subjects where you better be really careful about it, okay? So let's just all agree that it's going to be appropriate and correct.
100%. Yeah, it's not a joking issue, and you're using it to subvert their ad category requirements. So while it's perfectly legal and it actually says it in the back end, you still want to make sure that you protect yourself and the brokerage.
Okay, let's give it up to Rob. Good job. 2 minutes. First, again, you don't have to be the master of this when you walk out of here today. You just have to have an awareness and ask for help, okay? And Nicole, very soon as Rachel's flying solo up there, Nicole's going to have her own calendar, and you can sit and just talk about social media stuff, okay? But there's one burning question I'm surprised nobody really asked it, is how much money should I spend? Like if I want to run a Facebook ad, how much money should I spend? I don't want to spend more than I need to, but I do want to get results. I'm going to give you a little tip for this. Everything we do isn't always as good as I might think it is, and sometimes I didn't think it was very good, but it got a lot of traction. So when it comes to Facebook ads, what I want to recommend to you is that you test it before you start spending money on it. So test it by spending $1 a day for a week. I'm going to put this out there, I'm going to spend $1 a day for 7 days. Well, that's not going to reach that many people. It's not. You're just looking for what kind of response rate you get. Do you get some engagement? Do people seem to bite on what you've put out? If they did, great, go for it, and now run a 30-day campaign with it. If they didn't, maybe you need to adjust it a little bit before you start spending money. Make sense? So test it out. How much money should I be spending every year on my marketing budget just overall? Well, I've got 2 answers for you. If you are risk adverse, you still back there? Huh? If you are risk adverse, how do I know if I'm risk adverse? You focus a lot on what things cost. That's all you can think about. Like, oh my God, but that's going to cost, and you just can't get past it. And I say, but you're going to make this much. Yeah, but it's going to cost this. You are risk adverse. 10% of your projected gross commission income for this year. Bob, you want to make $1 million in commissions this year? Yes. Then how much money should you spend in your marketing budget? Mm-hmm. Some of you in the room are going, oh my God, you can't spend $100,000. He gets to keep $900. That's not true. What are you on, 50-50? I get 450, you get 450? Okay, you get 450. You're still good. Cheapskate? My gosh. Cheapskate calls FSBOs. Calls them cheapskates. I'm like, they ain't half as cheap as you are. Tight? Oh my God. If you are risk adverse, 10% of your projected gross commission income. Why projected? You're trying to make it. How you think you're going to get there? If you are risk tolerant, 15%. 15%. Ooh, I wonder which category you fall in. Cheapskate. How do I know if I'm risk tolerant? You only care what you make. You don't really care too much what things cost. You just care what you make out of it. Okay? Rob, which kind of person am I? You're risk tolerant. Oh, hell yes. If it costs $10, do I make 11? How do you know? Like, how do you know if you're going to make more money than you're spending? You don't. You'll never know. And for some of you, that's a non-starter. I need to know. It needs to be guaranteed. You aren't an entrepreneur. I'm sorry. I know you want to think of yourself like that, but you are not. You want guarantees in life. You should apply for a staff position here. I guarantee you I'll pay you $45,000 a year. There's your guarantee. Here's how you know. Is it likely, if I did this, if I did the free stuff and I did the ad campaigns, is it likely that I'm going to make a lot more money than I'm spending? If you can't answer that question, then don't do it. Come talk to me. We'll go through it. But if the answer is, yeah, it's likely, then it's costing you money not to do it. Right, Philip? You're missing a zero. Bob might spend, he might say, well, that's a $100,000 marketing budget for this year. Oh my God, how am I going to explain that to my wife? Well, it's $100,000 if you do it. What's it cost if you don't do it? It might cost millions. You might spend $1,000 a month on a newsletter campaign. And you might say, well, that's $12,000 this year. I'm like, well, it's $12,000 if you do it. What's it cost if you don't do it? Casey, how many people you working with? 16? Let's call it 16. 5 minutes later, it'll be 25. He's got $160,000 to $200,000 in gross commission income in the pipeline from running ads. You know what the cost of running the ads? I don't know, ballpark.
Probably about
$1,500 a month. Okay, let's just call it $2,000. Let's say he spent $30,000 on ads this year, which is not true. He's got $160,000 in the pipeline. So the cost of running the ads is $30,000. What's the cost of not running the ads? $160,000. Which number do you want? Now, for some of you, this freaks you out. You just like your heart, right, feel it. Heart rate's going up right now. Your chest is feeling tight. You want me to stop, and you don't want to talk about it anymore. You're risk adverse. Get it down. Or for you, just do the free stuff. That's okay. For some of you, this is thrilling. Let's just push all the chips in the middle of the table. This works or I bankrupt. Some of you are like that. Like, it's not fun to get out of bed every day if you're not running on the edge all the time. We need to talk too, okay? I don't want your boat to get swamped. Everything's not going to work. You are going to lose money. You are. Some of you, most of you, are right there in the middle. Good. I want you to make sure you're doing the free stuff, and let's talk about, one-on-one, let's talk about which of the paid things might be right for you and your business. It's probably not all of them. It's probably not $100,000 a year. It's probably 10% of your projected gross commission income. How much you want to make this year? And then let's make sure we're spending it in the right areas so you can get a good return on that. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, right now, just do a little internal check. See how high your heart rate is right now. Bob's is about to come out his ears because he doesn't like to spend money. How do you feel right now? And that'll tell you how you tend to trend when it comes to investing in your business. Risk tolerant, risk intolerant. And let's talk one-on-one because everybody's answer is going to be different. Okay? Make sense? Questions? It's lunchtime. You just want me to shut up and let's go have lunch. Let's do that. Ready? Right.